What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and we did it. We hit Legend Rank in Season 13 of Go Battle League, and we stole a team from a different content creator to do it. But I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. First of all, I just wanted to check in with you guys about how I went on at the Liverpool Regional Championships last week. Now, as you've all probably assumed by this point, I did not win at Liverpool. It was a very, very tough, stacked competition. Lots of very, very strong trainers there. The first trainer I lost to, because it's double elimination format, so you need 2 losses in games of best out of 3 to actually be out of the whole thing. My first loss was to Human Catcherbug, who ended up winning the whole thing, undefeated, amazing battler. And then my second loss was to V-Tenacity, which if anyone's in the Sylph scene, they'll know that V-Tenacity is an incredibly strong battler. One of the best, many might say. My first matchup was against Jamie Finn, who is a content creator also. You might know him as the trainer who made it all the way to Legend Rank using only Shadow Pokemon. So a very strong matchup in even the first battle that I actually played in the tournament. So very, very tough overall. Great battlers everywhere, and I'm very proud to hold my own amongst them. I just want to give a quick shout out to Simon, Super Sai UK 84, who came up and approached me to say hi. Let me know I was a fan of the channel. Absolutely made my day. On the Saturday, it was just after I'd lost and been kicked out of the tournament to Tenacity, and I was feeling a little down on myself, and you just completely flipped my mood way back around and just made the rest of that day for me. Absolutely made my week. Also, Alex, A Kushner 1, who I hung around with later on the Saturday as well as the Sunday, who I met last year, Statistan, who I also met last year, and the Liverpool community in general for being such gracious hosts and making us feel super welcome. It was a really fun weekend overall. Looking forward to the next one, and I'm hopefully going to try and make the London EU Continental Championships work to hopefully run some of you guys again as well. Right, I've blathered on enough about that. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, and let's take a look at the team. So on the lead, we're bringing Noctowl. Yes, Noctowl is very hard meta, but we are talking about reaching Legend Rank. You want to get up there, you're going to have to be using some of the best picks out there. Noctowl is very, very strong overall. Just got to watch out for those lanterns. It can threaten pretty much anything else in the meta. In the safe swap position, we're going to have Sableye, Purified Sableye. Mine isn't the best PvP IVs, but it's pretty decent with the 5, 15, 15. And then in the back, we're bringing Umbreon, which is a last resort Umbreon. Umbreon makes a fantastic safe swap in the current state of the meta, because if you swap it in and you're ahead on energy, you can force a shield out of a Medicham counter swap, assuming that they're running the normal moveset of Ice Punch and Psychic. So very, very nice pick to have in the back as well. And also this team means that Trevenant has absolutely nowhere to go. So some of you have probably already recognized this, but this is a team that was posted by Caleb Peng last week, and his video had been live about 30 minutes when I watched it, checked it out, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give that team a go, and I immediately made the push up to Legend Rank. I had 2 amazing sets, made the climb straight up to 3,000, so definitely a strong team. And shout out to Caleb. You want to check out his video, I'll put a link in the description down below so you can see some more battles with this team to get a more full look at how the team works. And here I'm just going to show you the one set of me reaching Legend Rank. So in this first matchup, we've got a Noctowl mirror match, which we are just going to play out because we don't want to risk the Sableye getting aligned with it, and a lot of teams that lead Noctowl don't deal all that well with Sableye in the back. And like we said, we're not too worried about maybe like a Trevenant getting past our Noctowl, because Sableye and Umbreon both handle that thing so well. So we're both going to choose to play out the matchup, simultaneously KO, and we're just going to wait and see what the opponent wants to bring in, waiting out the timer, and they come in with Sableye, and we bring in our own Sableye because we felt like Sableye is a safer option, but we immediately swapped to Umbreon, and they're staying in, which bodes very, very well for us in the back, because if you choose to stay in with a Sableye that is not purified against Umbreon, you're probably pretty weak to Umbreon in the back, and if you're weak to Umbreon, you're probably pretty weak to Sableye as well. So we're feeling very, very confident at this point. They're going to let the Shadow Sableye go down. Trevenant comes in with 2 shields, and they're just going to surrender there. There's nothing they can do. They don't even see our Sableye. No, they did see our Sableye, sorry, that we quickly swapped out of, but they know there's nothing they can do there. GG's. Now, this team does have a few very big weaknesses. If a Charmer gets past Noctowl, you're absolutely screwed. Alolan and Ninetales, if it's Powder Snow, you've got to get Sableye or Umbreon in there, and if it's Charm, you've got to keep Noctowl in there and just hope for the best. But overall, this team is pretty strong. Now, second matchup, we've got a Medicham on the lead, and I'm just going to give you guys a heads up, the screen recording fails partway through this matchup, and then I managed to restart recording towards the end of the game, but I will give you a quick rundown of what happened in that middle ground of the match. So, Medicham lead, great for Noctowl. They catch a Shadow Ball on Lickitung, which is absolutely horrendous for me and a fantastic catch for them. But we're going to bring in Umbreon here because we're going to be resisting that lick damage, and some of the work's already done on the Lickitung, so we should comfortably be able to control switch advantage here. And you're going to notice we're building up quite a bit of energy, and this is because we know that the switch timers are slightly out of sync because they caught a charge move, and then we chose to throw a wing attack, sorry, a sky attack as well to soften up the Lickitung before we swapped out. So we're expecting here the Medicham to come back in, and it does, but we've got 2 foul plays, so we can throw these back to back, stall out the switch timer, and then bring Noctowl back in to start farming this thing down. And we do get a shield here out of this Medicham because Umbreon's foul plays are nice like that. And this is where the screen recording crashed. So we brought Noctowl back in to deal with the Medicham. Turns out they had Bastiodon in the back, which we're able to get Sableye lined with and put some serious work in because we had shield advantage. And then we're left with Umbreon, who was able to just finish off the Bastiodon and will just make this foul play to finish taking out the Lickitung and give us the win. So quite a close game, and an amazing catch on the Lickitung could have really scuppered us overall, but still being able to handle something like a Bastiodon in the back does show what this team can do, especially when you're able to pull shield advantage thanks to Umbreon's spammy foul plays, which are neutral against the Medichams. Matchup 3, we've got another Noctowl mirror match, which we're just going to stay in and play out once again, hopefully protecting Sableye, and hopefully this is its toughest matchup on this team. So we're just going to go ahead, start throwing these sky attacks, and I believe the opponent chooses to play this one out as well, and we actually just lose by like 1 HP. It must be quite a bulky Noctowl. Mine's a rank 21, but it does have 2 attack IVs, so this Noctowl might have slightly more bulk because it survives with a sliver of health, and it's going to make all the difference in this matchup. And you do have to choose with Noctowl because like you can have a Noctowl with like, I think it's 5 or 6 attack and a specific IV spread, so it reaches a break point against Galarian Stunfisk, so you can knock it out with 2 Shadow Balls. Or you can go for one that wins the mirror match, or one that wins CMP tie in the mirror match. It's purely up to preference and what matchups you think you're going to see and you're going to win. But mine is just a fairly bulky Noctowl that doesn't have 0 attack, so it tends to win the CMP ties against a lot of the Noctowls that you're going to see, especially ones on lead. Now, because we soft lose the lead and we bring in Sableye, it means that we're going to get Medicham lined up against our Umbreon, which is just going to be a little bit tough to deal with because, like we've said, Umbreon can force a shield in this situation if Medicham doesn't have Dynamic Punch or Power Up Punch, but also Umbreon's going to be very, very, very low, and we're not going to be able to take a charge move anymore off of that Lantern because we got a Sky Attack from the Noctowl, so the damage is pretty much done. We're not going to be able to win this game. We're pretty much scuppered at this point. I'm going to let this go. Maybe the Medicham will let it go down, maybe it won't. It doesn't really matter. There's not much that we can do. All they have to do is stay the course and they will win this game. We try and snipe down quickly with the Sableye. We get 1 Shadow Claw in and then they swap out. And there's not much we can do here. The Surf would knock us out. It is just a shame having to take that last Sky Attack from that opposing Noctowl. Otherwise, would have been very, very close position in this game because we would have been able to survive 1 Surf comfortably, and they might have been depending even on shield baiting us with a Surf and rather than a Thunderbolt. Stuff like that would have been very close. But GG's to the opponent. That's why you pick a certain IV spread of Noctowl, because if that gives you the mirror match, and then that can give you some of these matchups, because you're going to see here, we're going to get to this last foul play against the Lantern, but they still have a shield, so it's not all that close. It's GG's to the opponent. Still well played to the opponent, not a whole lot I could do in that matchup at that point. We're going to go into the next matchup, and we've got a Skarmory lead, which isn't good for Noctowl because they are going to be resisting those wing attacks. So we're going to choose to swap out into Sableye, see what the opponent wants to do, and they're going to come in with Meganium, which ideally we'd get lined up with Noctowl, but what can you do? Sableye is going to be able to win the 0 shield in this situation. We're going to just survive this Frenzy Plant, and we're going to get another foul play off, so they're either going to give us shield advantage or we're going to get switch advantage back. This opponent's going to choose to give us switch advantage and choose to just get some more energy on that Skarmory, which can be pretty scary, especially if we didn't have a steal to shut that energy down with, which we don't. We've got Umbreon, and we're going to go for extra energy. We're expecting them to potentially throw a Brave Bird here, so we are going to shield up. I do think in a lot of matchups, shielding up a big move on Umbreon really pushes the matchup in your favour, so I tend to be a fan of choosing to shield early in the matchups because people tend to throw the hard-hitting charge move early. We're going to get that shield back. This is probably the Brave Bird now. We're expecting to Brave Bird and swap out, which they are going to go ahead and do. They swap into Surfetched, and we've got Noctowl here. And the nice thing about this matchup is that we can get a nice big energy lead to then threaten the Skarmory with a Shadow Ball, because we are starting to get them pretty low. We are going to throw one wing attack too late, which is a little bit unfortunate because we're going to take another Leaf Blade of damage, which is going to really start adding up. Those neutral counters from an attack weight to Pokemon like Surfetched are really going to chip us down. But we get the shield in this situation, and the opponent realises the position that they've put themselves in by shielding that up, and they're going to surrender there because we would have been able to take out the Surfetched, would have been able to get to foul plays against the Skarmory, and there's not really that much that they can do at that point, so it's a GG. So, matchup 5, we're on 3 out of 4. We need this win to make the push Legend rank in this set, and we got an Excadrill lead, which my heart sank at because Excadrill's a pretty tough punish to Noctowl. So we're going to swap in Sableye, and they're going to choose to stay in and throw a move. So we're thinking maybe they don't have a hard answer to Sableye, and with still having some health, we can really push for switch advantage. They bring in Pidgeot, which is a pretty tough answer to Sableye overall. So we're not looking too good in this situation. We're not shield. It's a Brave Bird, so we lose a bunch of energy on the Sableye. So we're really in a bad position now. This is really not looking good. So we decide we're going to go for a full wing attack down. We're going to let this go, even though it's probably another Brave Bird. It is. Hits us incredibly hard, but we know we can survive it. And we want the energy advantage to just throw Shadow Balls into the Excadrill, which we're expecting to come back in. It doesn't. It's a Frostlass. And I'm like, okay, Umbreon's the win condition. We can force either the last shield or knock out this Frostlass with a Shadow Ball here, and we do the big damage, and that's going to be an absolute lifesaver because now we can snarl down the Frostlass and then just spam foul plays at Excadrill. And the biggest downside to Excadrill in the Great League is that it's really squishy. It can't take a charge move to save its life, so these foul plays are still very threatening, and we're just going to be able to keep chipping away. We can survive one drill run, but we're going to choose to shield it up because I'm not sure what hits harder, a drill run from an Excadrill or a avalanche from Frostlass. So I choose to shield up the drill run, and now I figure I'm going to build up a little bit more energy and hopefully make it to one more foul play or snarl down the Frostlass. I know it's going to be close either way, and I know I didn't have any time to spare against the Excadrill. The opponent realises they're not going to make it, they surrender there, and that's going to give us the win, and that's going to be a GG, and that's going to give us the push up to 3,000 ELO. I think it's 3,014 we hit, and that's going to give us Legend rank. And it's the first season in quite a while that I've made the push to Legend rank in the Great League. I normally cross the finish line in the Ultra League and then just find teams that can hold their own around the 3,000 ELO range after in the Great League. So a nice change of pace to actually make that push in Great League, and I have a video for you guys to show a team that's definitely capable of making the push. So be sure to let me or Caleb Peng know what you think of the team. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch all of you absolute legends next time.